If you want to rank higher on Google, you need to focus on writing better blogs. Because after helping dozens of SaaS companies rank #1 on Google, I found out that you can have the best backlinks, the best SEO tools, the best information, but if your blogs aren't designed to help you rank and convert, none of that matters. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create blogs that rank you #1 on Google. And not only are we going to cover how to create blogs that get you ranked and discovered on Google, but also blogs that help you convert traffic into customers. That way you can start seeing real revenue. But before we get into creating high converting content, we need to talk about why blogs fail in the first place. Because I see a lot of companies publishing stuff that never gets past page 3, and there's a really simple reason for that. They're still following outdated principles from years ago that don't even work anymore. Things like low quality backlinks and keyword stuffing. But after helping dozens of SaaS companies rank #1 on Google, I found out that getting to the top of Google in 2026 comes down to one simple thing, and that's relevance. Which means that the only way to get the kind of traffic that you want is to publish content that actually satisfies the search intent. So let me show you the difference between a blog that ranks well and a blog that doesn't even rank in the top 5 pages of Google. So here we have a blog from a SaaS company. This company is targeting a keyword that is super informational, super top of funnel, and they're barely even targeting it. So I'm going to go through a few different things. The first thing is going to be keyword targeting. So the keyword is the future of equipment rentals. This keyword has no search volume. We can even pull it up in Ahrefs. So there is 0 to 10 search volume, and the intent of it is extremely top of the funnel. So no one is actually looking to purchase an equipment rental software. They're just talking about the future of equipment rental. Now, when we come down to the content in here, it's kind of just talking about random stuff. It's not really agitating any pain points that users are feeling, and it's not really matching the buying intent. It's not really including any keywords that are relevant to the buying intent or to the keyword. There's no headers. So there are a lot of issues with this content, let alone it being way too short to have all of the necessary information that you need to rank. Also, from the UX and UI level, it has a really poor readability structure. So like I just mentioned, there are no headers. There's no table of contents. If you're scrolling in the middle of the article, all you see is a piece of content on a blank background. So there's no UX, UI elements that kind of wrap this all together. You're just kind of on this basic blog page. So coming over to an article like this, we actually wrote this article and it was meant to be top of funnel or informational, but I'm going to give you guys some insights on how this is informational and not bottom of the funnel, not kind of commercial driven, but it still is a blog that ranks extremely well on the informational keywords it's targeting. So the first thing is that it targets a keyword with the actual search volume. So how to use AI for stock trading. That says 250 search volume, has 1,000 traffic potential. It's a keyword that a lot of people are trying to kind of target. And then it's also a growing keyword. So obviously that's because AI is growing, especially in the stock trading world. And the way we're targeting the keyword is very specific. So we have it right here in the title. Couldn't be any more specific than that. In the first H2, we have AI stock trading. And then here we have AI to trade stocks, and then the top rated AI trading platforms. When you scroll through the content, it matches the search intent really well. So let me go ahead and pull up Surfer SEO here. So within Surfer SEO, we scored a 96 out of 100 on this article, and we got the right word count, the right heading count. We included all of the keywords it needed, aggregated on the data from the top results on the given keyword. And if you scroll through, what you can see is that we're answering the buying intent or the search intent in a very direct manner. So we're talking about straight away the benefits of AI stock trading, and then the next H2 is how to use AI in stock trade. So we give it a little bit of an intro, and then we get right to the point of how to use it in stock trading, and then we just go very in depth on how to use it, and we even give you top 3 platforms for trading and their different use cases. And like I just said, we go through the use cases. So every type of AI stock trading, we go through FAQ. So this is a very informative and authoritative article, and that's why it ranks well. Going back into Surfer SEO, we also use the keywords very naturally in the content. So we're not keyword stuffing necessarily. So as you can see, all of the underlined keywords are keyword phrases that we need to be using. These are very spaced out. They're not just backed up next to each other. They're used naturally and genuinely. So what the writer does for an article like this is they actually study the keywords, they understand the keywords in the back of their mind, and as they're writing, they already know the keywords. Versus what a lot of beginners do in SEO is write all the content, then look at the keywords, then try to implement all of the keywords. And what you end up doing is making it not very genuine. You make it very stuffed, very forced. Then also from the UX UI level, we have very clear H2s and H3s all throughout the article. For example, this is an H2 and under it there are H3s just like this. So we have a very good readability score. And then obviously we have a very nice H1 up here, meta description here. We have table of contents so you can kind of understand where you're at and you can scroll to different places in the article. We even have a call to action right here. And then we have more call to actions down here. And overall, there's just a quick load speed. It's not very design heavy, so it's very easy to load on mobile, on computer, all of the above. So the way this is outperforming the previous article we just looked at is that it has a really nice clean UX UI structure. It has very readable, structured, and crawlable content. It's extremely relevant to the buying intent or the search intent of the given keyword, and it's hyper specific on which keyword it wants to target, and it's tailoring all of the content around that given keyword from research coming from the SERP of the keyword itself. So when you search for the keyword, all of the research and aggregated data from those top results is being used for this piece of content, versus the previous article, it's kind of just a thought piece. Now, if you want to start ranking #1 on Google without having to learn to apply this framework yourself, you can book a call in the description below. We've helped dozens of SaaS companies drive more inbound leads and rank #1 on Google, like TapClicks, who we helped rank #1 in just 90 days. Now, if you want to see if we can do the same for you, book a call below. So writing just blogs isn't enough. I've seen so many SaaS companies fall into that trap, and I call it the traffic trap. For example, I've seen them celebrate 25,000 monthly visitors from their blogs, for example, but when you actually look into it and you do the math, they're not getting any revenue coming in from those blogs because traffic doesn't automatically equal new customers. Like that same traffic getting 25,000 monthly visitors might have a 0.1% conversion rate, let's say, which means you're only getting 25 signups every single month, versus another blog that might be getting 2,000 monthly visitors, but their conversion rate is 6%, and now they're getting 120 signups every single month. The second one got 1/10 the amount of visitors, but 5x the amount of conversions. And that's all because it was structured to attract and convert people who are ready to buy. Now let me show you how you can do the same for yourself. Okay, so coming back to this AI stock trading article, it ranks really well on the keywords. And once again, we purposely targeted informational keywords, but the fact that it is informational means it's pulling in researchers or even like students doing projects or just the general audience kind of curious about the topic, but it's not really pulling in dedicated buyers. So this article, for example, doesn't convert that well. A little side piece, it's really just meant for internal linking, as you can see here. But if you want to build a blog that actually ranks and converts really well, you can follow this next example. So looking at this article, this is the 9 best workflow automation apps. So right off the bat, it's targeting a commercial buying intent keyword because people are looking for a list of automation apps or workflow automation apps. They're looking to sign up with an automation app essentially. So this attracts buyers because it has the right commercial buying intent. Because if we were to search up the keyword right here, we can see that these are all blogs around the top workflow automation apps. So people are literally looking to buy. And then the way we actually capitalize on that is throughout the content, we don't just write in a very informative way, we also write in a very persuasive way, but less of trying to sell or pitch, but more so trying to capture the demand. So as an example, we have our intro right here in the content, and this is really just meant to get us ranked, and so is the rest of the content, but we have a call to action right here, right away, which leads you to a sign up page for this company. And then we have another SEO section right here, and then we jump right into the listicle. So a listicle is a list of companies on a given keyword. So people are looking for workflow automation apps. We're showing them a listicle of 9 workflow automation apps, and we jump right into it right away, super high up in the article because we want to answer the buying intent or the search intent. Now, people aren't going to scroll forever and then kind of bounce, such as in this article, if this was a listicle, which it isn't, but let's say we were saying the best AI tools for stock trading and people had to scroll all the way down to almost halfway through the article for the top 3 AI trading platforms, they're going to bounce and click off the article sooner because they're not answering their intent right away. Their intent is to see a list. And then once your bounce rate is higher, Google is going to de-rank you and not rank you as well, essentially. And you're also not going to get as many conversions because people aren't converting at a high enough rate. So we jump right into it. 9 best AI workflow automation automation tools. We give the key features, we give a very in-depth explanation, different integrations, all of the above. We even give pricing and then a nice little call to action here. And then we go through the rest and we talk about pros, cons, pricing, everything. So I'm literally scrolling through this entire article, and the majority of it is answering the search intent, which is a list of tools. And another thing is that before the list up towards the top, we're actually agitating just a little bit. So we're saying why businesses need workflow automation apps, and we're giving a little bit of our own 2 cents here, and we're going to kind of structure them to be persuaded into signing up with our company. And this is not in a devious or unethical way. This is in a way where we're agitating the pain point, so people aren't just curiously searching for workflow automation apps. They're actually getting agitated once they see that, manual business processes slow everything down. Yeah, it does. But when you have workflow automation software, you can automate all of your tasks, right? So simple, kind of showing pain points, speaking to the customer's pain points. And then as soon as you speak about those pain points, you're giving them the listicle. And then scrolling down here, once we're done with the listicle, we're actually hitting them with a call to action for our business. And we're giving them a breakdown. So we're talking about how you can connect every app, build AI workflows, some more messaging down here, and then we're hitting them with a call to action. So we're introducing the topic, we're agitating, we're answering the search intent and giving them what they want, and then we're guiding them to the next step. With this setup, we become the natural next step. But either way, now that you know how to rank and optimize your blogs for conversions, there's one more step left. Because even if you have a great blog, if you don't set up or optimize the technical aspects of it, Google won't know how to analyze or place your content in their index, which is unfortunate because this is probably the easiest step out of everything. So there's no reason to get it wrong. So coming in here, I'm going to show you guys an example of technical SEO and Webflow as you're publishing. So we're going to look at this example under the CMS blog post. The first couple of things we're going to look at is making sure your title tag, your meta description, and your slug, which is your URL structure, are all accurate. So in a CMS like Webflow, it's really, really easy to optimize your title tag and your meta description. You essentially just want to dynamically add the tag from your CMS collection. In this case, we're looking at blog title, and what it's going to do is auto-populate the right title for that blog. So I can scroll through here and you can see these are all different blogs and it's automatically updating the title. I would recommend just having the blog title and not including something like this, which most people do, company name with a little line there. I wouldn't recommend that because your blog title is going to be way too long. You want your blog title to be around 60 characters or less. So I just pulled this up here in Mangles, which is a really nice SEO tool. And as you can see, this is 60 characters. If we kept going too long, it's going to give us this little ... and we do not want that ... The next thing is going to be the meta description. So the meta description, you want around 160 characters or less. Typically the 140 to 150 range is really nice. And this is just going to dynamically be the meta description per the article. So if I scroll through here, you can see all of these meta descriptions changing per article. And the next thing is going to be your URL structure, aka your slug. You literally just want this to be the keyword. So in this case, the keyword is email verification best practices. We literally just made the slug email verification best practices and nothing else. The next thing we're going to check in here is going to be the schema markup. So you want to generate schema markup for your blog and have it kind of look like this. You can use schema markup generator. You can just search it up. TechnicalSEO.com has a perfect schema markup generator. This is the one we use. And nowadays, Webflow actually allows you to generate it automatically using Webflow. That's really nice too. You can just generate schema markup automatically. But in this case, we created a blog posting schema. So you just go through the steps on TechnicalSEO.com and then you add in all of the dynamic tags. So in this case, we have our slug here. We have our headline here, which is our blog title. We have the meta description. We have the author name, and it's on this custom code snippet. We even have the date published and date modified. If we pull up the URL on schema.org, this allows us to see that we have valid schema markup, which allows Google to understand that we have a blog post and they can crawl all of our data a little bit better. The next thing we're going to look at is your header hierarchy structure. So you always want your title and the only main header on your article to be your H1 tag. You only want one of those per page. So in this case, we do have an H1 tag set up. So this tells Google this is our main header, main title, and they're going to read this first and see that we're targeting the main keyword. Now within our content on Webflow, I have to look at it in this view. So you want to make sure you have a H2, H3, H4. So coming into our blog post, we see that these are all H2s. These are the same size as H2. And then we have H3s under that. And then if there's any headers within these H3s, we're going to make those H4s. And then for FAQs, I always recommend to have an H2 tag as the FAQ title, and all the FAQs are H3s. Another thing you guys want to make sure you utilize is internal linking. This is technically a part of technical SEO. So you want to make sure that you have 2 to 3 links per H2 section. That's typically the rule of thumb, unless you have a really small site. You probably won't be able to do that without stuffing internal links. So as you can see, there's a ton of internal links here that just target many different pages, and that allows Google to create a huge spider web kind of net of our entire sitemap and see that it's all linking together and boosting each other up. And once you publish your article, I recommend using a tool like this. This is called the Detailed SEO extension. Basically, you pull it up on any URL. It tells you if the title is under 60 characters or whatever, it's a good amount. The meta description is good. The URL is indexable, which is really good to know. You want to know if your canonical URL is self-referencing or if you're not applying a canonical URL, and then if it's blocked by any robots.txt files, and then it shows you like your word count just to make sure there's no like glitches or anything. It also shows you your H2s and H3s, describe that there's no H1 there. Shows you how many images you have, how many links you have. You want to make sure that these are kind of larger numbers. If there was like one image here, I would be worried that there's some sort of technical issue, and then you'd be good to index this page because you know that from a technical SEO standpoint, everything checked out. And that's the exact system you need to rank #1 on Google and convert traffic into customers. But great blogs are just one part of an effective and profitable SEO system. So if you want to see me break down the entire strategy behind ranking SaaS companies #1 on Google, you can watch the video here and I'll see you over there.